I'm Nat Ives. I'm an editor and reporter at the Wall Street Journal, and I've been on and moderated a lot of panels about various kinds of marketing, but I was telling these guys backstage, usually I know a little bit more about what I'm talking about than I do today. I find this field pretty new, pretty fresh, and pretty interesting. I feel like there's a lot of questions that have only begun to be posed, so I think that makes for good conversation. That said, I'm gonna turn it over to you guys real quick to maybe go down the line and tell everybody who you are, and briefly, because we'll dive into it, let us know in what way conversational marketing or any of this applies to you or making you wonder what to do.
Yeah, I'm Ben. I'm the founder of a company called Recess. We're a consumer wellness company. We create products such as our sparkling water infused with CBD, as well as experiences designed to help people feel balanced, centered, and inspired so they can be their most productive and creative selves. We just launched 6 months ago, and conversational commerce to us is like the brand is really like, I think we have a very strong brand voice, and it's very much like a social commentary on being like a human in 2019. And right now that conversation is primarily happening, in Instagram. But on the commerce side, we recently launched like Uber Eats because we have a kind of a retail space in NoHo called Recess IRL. And so, that's kind of a text message ordering, I guess you could say. But we definitely will enable text message ordering in the future. But I think for us, it's really like having a conversation with our community about the brand itself, and then ultimately that driving sales. And so that's probably how we think about it as of now.
I'm Cody Levine, co-founder of Twice, which is a new direct-to-consumer oral care company. We're making toothpaste. We're 7 months old. And I think for us, conversational commerce is really exciting because toothpaste is traditionally an impulse purchase when you're running out. As New Yorkers, we're like, oh no, like literally I have no toothpaste left. I have to go run across the street to the store. So how could we be in the moment at the right time in the right place, which I think is now more important than ever, to be super smart, to help provide new value. But ultimately, I think we want to start building a friendship with our customers. So toothpaste traditionally isn't something that you think of having a conversation with, but in the modern day of getting to know people and providing them with products and services and information that can help better their life, that's where we stand.
Hey everybody, I'm Sofia. I'm the co-founder of Tiny Organics. We are a tech-powered baby wellness and nutrition company focused on your babies and toddlers' personalized nutrition. We have different products, and what differentiates us is it's finger food, so it's soft finger food, so parallels to Montessori, parallels to this movement called baby-led weaning out of Europe. Most of the products out there you see are purees, so we're kind of, when your baby either foregoes or outgrows purees, that's where we fit. And we can have older children eating this food. We also eat the food. Our investors eat the food, so I encourage you to try it. We see conversational commerce as a big opportunity. If you look at baby data, it hasn't really been reinvented since Baby Center. So we actually already, our community manager, Antonio, is a former doula sitting here in the audience, is already texting with our parents. And we know that parents have the same 50 questions that they had 30 years ago, they have today. So really, the question we get from investors always is, how do you scale? And Bonin touched on it earlier, and I should full disclosure, Bonin's also our third co-founder in the business, but we believe in the human and automation. So yeah, there will be some bot. We use a company called Zingle currently, which is Sarah Blakely's brother's company. So we will build some automation in there, but we really think, in order for this to work and work really well, it's about the authenticity. And parents really have questions and need support. So we feel that this is a key differentiator for us and a big opportunity.
Hi, I'm Julie Fabricant, and I am the Vice President of Digital at ForceBrands. ForceBrands is a recruiting and staffing firm and job board for the consumer products industry. So we specialize in helping people find jobs and helping brands build their teams in food, beverage, beauty, and the cannabis industry. I'm really excited about conversations through text message and commerce, just because we're going to be using it for customer service and experience. Finding a job, especially with the recruiter, is very personal. It's very white glove, and when you hang up the phone with someone, how do we continue that conversation and make job seeking and job searching a less stressful experience, very supportive, being there for our customers on both ends, and opening the conversation about helping people find their next opportunities and helping the brands find great talent when the time is right, and using that behavior and data to make it a really great experience. Looking for a job is a positive thing. It's a new change, it's a career, it's an opportunity, and how do you make it sound really human and not a big scary, tossing things to the wind.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm the Senior Manager of Special Projects at The Farmer's Dog. We are a direct-to-consumer fresh pet food brand. Like Sofia, we also currently use text messaging in our customer lifecycle, have been for years now, and are beginning to explore, along with open message, some acquisition tactics that we can also do using SMS and creating that personal communication with potential customers as well.
Great. So we don't have a lot of time. This clock is ticking really fast, I think, as we get back on schedule. So could I jump to who here is doing something right now in terms of marketing? Maybe not entirely customer service, but acquisition perhaps. Who's got an example, a concrete example that we should talk about?
Yeah, so we're currently piloting a test down in Schofield. It's our first retail location on Bond Street. And with that, a product like ours that doesn't lend itself necessarily to being purchased in person required some transition to digital. So we worked with Open Message to create a really great experience where customers could put in their phone number along with their name, and in turn receive a text message with a custom message and a discount code. And that transitioned a retail experience to lend itself closer to direct response, which is something like our brand is really used to in marketing. And so we found that to be really successful.
And who's on the other end of the text? Are we using AI for these applications, or are we using humans? And where do we find the right humans to do either side of that?
So yeah, we have both currently. So it's myself and Antonia currently texting with our parents. But we also have, if you text our number, you get it's called a zing, but essentially it's a bot. So you get an automated message first. But yeah, what we've seen, we actually ran a pilot about 6 months ago, and we had 8 to 10 text interactions daily from our parents. We asked them something as simple as, what do you feed your baby throughout the day? And that will help us also know where Tiny will fit. Most of our parents work full time, so they tell us about their day-to-day. And then also Bonin was texting with people, where is he? And he's obviously an expert in this, so he was having long chats with moms and dads, actually. But I think customer service definitely will have via text, but I think for us, like the feeding tips, as mentioned, those same questions when parents start feeding their baby solids, and they want to expand their palate, and all these types of questions. So there will be some scripts. And I think, we'll have RDs and staff, registered nutritionists, but like, in my mind, you can probably offshore the customer service, but I think for the feeding advice, it needs to be here. And one more thing I will mention is that we can't really give medical advice. So Claudia, one of our advisors, she's ex-Gerber, and she talks about this mastering the redirect. So essentially, you should say, I can't advise, you should talk to a pediatrician, but when you're ready, come back. Really building that relationship.
Is this a fully customer service, a lower funnel, transactional customer service kind of thing, or is there a branding element for messaging at any point? Does it say something about your brand, for example, if you're like Dirty Lemon and you're sold essentially through text largely, with some exceptions? Or are there other ways to maybe say something about your brand by going conversational? Oh, you guys have thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I think there's for Recess, there's definitely opportunities for us to do both call it marketing and transactions through text. Our distribution strategy is literally to be as omnichannel as possible, is what I like to say. So we're in 1,400 accounts in New York already. We have a big direct-to-consumer e-commerce business. We're about to launch Amazon, Uber Eats, vending machines. Like, text messages is kind of a natural place to go next, because Recess is a daily habit product. People that drink it tend to drink it like every day. And so as a result, I want to make it as easy for people to buy as possible. But moreover, like it's an idea, and that idea comes across in kind of our brand voice. And so I think there's some interesting but weird things we could do with text message that we'll probably experiment with.
Yeah, I think the text platform lends itself to just what it is with you and your circle of friends. It's friendship, right? I'd like to think of the platform as a brand that just uses text to ask for things is like the friend who literally only messages you to ask for something. So how do we as brands leverage it as an open communication platform to, not say, hey, buy our product, but educate them, inform them, learn about them. I think what I wish for and hope for on the platform is how do I get to learn and grow with my customer, right? Like, how do I know how she's feeding her baby and what is she really looking for to build out an amazing customer profile, sure, to like increase LTV with her, but ultimately provide her with better resources. And I think that's how the friendship needs to grow, just like you and any other friend.
Yeah, you were talking about personality backstage and the opportunity to express yourself this way. Do you think it's a different opportunity than the other channels?
A little bit, because recruiting and finding jobs is a people business, right? So the people have to be part of it, and making that very human and very high touch is sometimes a digital challenge. So you can't go bot, you can't go, these scripted messages. I think it's just giving people this opportunity to reach out and say, I need support, help me find something. And then, doing it on the other side with companies being like, we can find you someone. What are you looking for? I think we can be the conduit. We always say that we're connectors. That's all recruiting and finding people jobs is we're connecting the right person to the right opportunity and vice versa. So I think being the platform where these conversations can happen, who knows? Maybe there's a time in the future where, people are talking directly to each other and we're just there facilitating. I think it's humanizing the experience. I'm a data nerd, so also getting all the information about life cycles of when people are looking for opportunities, who's using their phone. Obviously, there's some types of jobs that people are, on digital platforms more often. But text messaging is kind of an equalizer right now. I feel like in some ways people are using it, whether you're a digital marketer or whether you're a supply chain manager. So I'm very curious about the data and use when it comes to looking for a new job opportunity and being able to give people what they want. I mean, all of this is about personalization and putting the right thing in front of the right person at the right time. And I think it's a great opportunity to give your company character, a voice, and to let them know you're there. I mean, a lot of D2C especially is not a one-time purchase. It's when I need to buy my dog food, I know who I'm going to. It's like European market shopping. I have my meat guy, I have my fruit person. I'm choosing when to engage versus being engaged with all the time.
Do you need to be a certain kind of brand to be expecting people to transact conversationally? Do you need to be, for example, big and well-known and institutional, or is it advantageous to be come off like a startup and somebody that you might text to buy from?
I don't think it makes a huge difference as long as you understand what your customer is looking for. A big thing we always talk about is just meeting our customer where they want to be met. So if it's the right time and place, then I think it will be really authentic and drive a great experience for the customer. So maybe it requires a little bit of testing to understand if it's the right customer for you to be SMSing with or texting with. And over time, you'll get a pretty quick response and understand whether or not this is the right time and place to be meeting them.
Yeah, and I wanted to add for our brand, specifically building the trust is really key here. And it's interesting because we sometimes hear, and I think Jake touched on it, like the spamming on the text message. But the interesting thing is there's very few brands that are currently texting with their customers. And I think for some people will be a learning curve. And I was saying to Claudia, like I signed up for Dottie, I signed up for Jet Black, and I'm just really curious about this space and who's in the space. And actually, I did have a question. I'm good friends with Jonathan and you guys, big fans of Farmer's Dog. You guys have been texting probably the longest of any of us. What's been the biggest learning or the biggest win? You just have high engagement when you text?
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, the biggest learning was just that it was really successful for us. So we didn't start it out of a novelty or wanting to become one of these cool brands who was texting. Actually, our customers were just asking for it. And we found over time that it was really convenient for a lot of customers who were on the go just to be shooting us a quick response to make a quick change or anything like that to their plan. But the success really just came from customers giving us positive feedback. And I think we're at the point where around 1/5 of our communications are over SMS at this point. So it's proven to be a pretty great channel.
I'm finding also that it's how you text, right? There's some big box brands that text me now with just an offer. I get them all the time, but I don't unsubscribe. I just delete. Then there's there's a couple DTC brands that send me more personalized, like text us if you need the address or I'm helpful for you. And those are top of mind. And I look at those, but there's definitely, you lose that, like, I need to unsubscribe from it so far.
Yeah, I mean, do we know enough about this field to have best practices or worst practices, things to avoid yet? Have you guys learned that? Did you try something that didn't work?
I think automation probably only works in the right time and place. We found that while it is painful, scaling a human-based SMS service is really an amazing touch point and provides a lot of value. So while it's enticing to just provide this really low-hanging, automated kind of service, it didn't prove to be this amazing experience that really resonated with the customers. So for us, kind of just doing the legwork to build it out and scale it up was well worth our time.
Do we think there's going to come a time, how soon do you think there's going to be before every brand is textable? I mean, it feels like one of these things that might become a prerequisite to existing shortly.
Yeah. I can definitely see kind of like Amazon dash buttons. When like those come out, they're like, it makes something super convenient. I think the brands that can offer you something super convenient and don't feel like they're automated or they're just spamming you, they could be more contacts in your phone book. Like if I'm out of toothpaste at 11:30 p.m., I'm gonna text twice. It's in my phone book and say, "Hey, can you reorder me a Duo?"
I'm so impressed you don't just go to bed.
You gotta brush twice a day. Come on.
All right.
So I can see like my phone book being full of the right brands, and then eventually you'll have to kind of go through and clean it up, kind of like you unfollow or you slim down in certain things that you end up you subscribe to too many emails. You can trim the phone book maybe, but I wouldn't mind. I think I would love to converse that way.
I was going to say, I think we have an advantage, us who are here early on, and the likes of Dirty Lemon, big fans of Zach, who really go for it. I think we'll have a big advantage going forward because there will be a lot of brands texting. And then it just is like exactly what you said. You choose the brands you wanna talk with. And I wanted to add one more thing. We will be texting also with non-customers. So also seeing that, like we're testing different things now. Is it office hours? If you text us outside office hours, we'll say, Antonia's sleeping like your baby should, or whatever. Like kind of witty and smart, and exactly, and that's where your voice can really come through.
I also like that it's easier to find. I don't know about anyone else here, but when I go to look for something in my email, I can't find it. There's too many emails. I don't know if it's an old coupon, a new coupon. When I go to look to see what Dirty Lemon just texted me, I see my entire history with the conversation I had with them, and I can surface it really quickly. And I think there's something I'm getting really frustrated with email becoming this black hole of things I don't ever look at unless there's like a priority inbox there. And my text messaging is becoming my quick shortcuts. I mean, I text myself all day, photos, things to remember. I think my own name is the #1 text message thing that's at the top all the time because I just text myself because that's the first thing that I'll go to. So it's just changing the behavior. Email is literally becoming that old account that just has every coupon I signed up for. So.
I completely agree. I like to think that like email is basically a credit card that you can kind of deprioritize or lose, but a text message is a bank account, and it's not going to change, and you have them, and you can nurture that relationship, whereas emails...
And you can pay through it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm beginning to get worried about where all this will go. I mean, email once seemed kind of simple, and now I'm lost in the nests, and I can't find a thing. Real quick, how do you guys think you're going to approach trying to have a voice, but potentially communicate with a lot of customers? Like, you're going to have a lot of hands on these accounts answering these texts with some automation. How voicey can you be, or how are you going to train people to maintain your brand voice?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
All right, well,
No.
Wait, that is yet to be seen.
It's called a new role that needs to be developed, the multi-personality customer service person.
The recess onboarding is
Yeah, no,
a deep
I'm literally
dive
trying to
into
hire
voice and tone.
copywriters right now, and it's hard to screen for who is aligned with our brand voice. So
yeah, I bet
don't get it
it's not the one social media manager who's got the great voice. It's 30 people who can duplicate it.
And it's not necessarily falling in a natural channel. We talk about this a lot. I actually spoke to, before this panel, most of my recruiters to just kind of make sure that I was correct in how we were looking at hiring. And every company has its own need. Does this person sit under marketing? Does this person sit under sales? If you have a strong e-com team, is this customer service? And every company is going to be different, but it's definitely going to be this hybrid role of digital marketing and analytics in customer journey mixed with customer experience and sales. I mean, it's an interesting marketer who can look at everything and every conversion point to the path to conversion and still be creative and still be witty. And guess what? You only have one shot. You don't get to send like a million emails and hope no one sees it. So I'm excited as a digital marketer. I find it to be the most fascinating space to play with because it merges creativity, data, and you'll see response immediately. It's not a question mark. So.
Yeah, I think we're going to be talking about this a lot more, and unfortunately, we're definitely out of time. So I think we got to wrap it up. But thanks very much, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.